Hey, how's everybody doing? Hannah Lee and I are out here and we were practicing with a rifle that she uses and her older brother Jaden uses a lot. They've actually used this rifle to harvest their first deer, as well as Jaden shot a squirrel with this.
Squirrel!
And you say, how can a rifle do both deer and squirrel?
Squirrel!
Well, let me tell you a little bit about this rifle, because this might be a good option, survival option for many of you who live in more restrictive states where you cannot easily get a modular sporting rifle. And maybe you're in a more urban environment where a modular sporting rifle in the extended range that it has is not safe or applicable to your situation. So this is a 22 Magnum. It's a little bit longer than a 22 long rifle. It is still a rimfire cartridge, and because of that, it sometimes gets around some of those proposed laws about center fire rifle cartridges. This is not center fire. This is more powerful than a 22 long rifle. At 100 yards downrange, this bullet still has the same amount of energy as a 22 long rifle does at the muzzle. So you definitely get some extended velocity and power. And you know, the beauty of this cartridge, small but effective round. And when it's a well-placed shot on a deer-sized target, and many people have done this, myself and some of my children included, a well-placed shot on a deer in the lungs especially, or in the neck region, this bullet goes in and usually it bounces around, and I've been able to prove that, and it effectively drops the deer usually within 30 yards or so.
And I've shot a deer too.
Yeah, Hannah Lee, who's filming, she shot her first deer just a few months ago with this gun at about 40 yards, and the deer dropped in its tracks, and she did a wonderful job. Good job, Hannah Lee. So this might be a good option. This rifle is also very cost effective. This is a Ruger brand. There are other brands out there. This is a bolt action rifle. It's something to consider if you're going to use this for self-defense. You're going to have to practice with it. Go to my video about adrenaline dump to think through that process of, can you function this firearm in a difficult situation. Are you trying to get your toes in the shot?
No.
Oh, okay. This particular rifle though, and the reason I went with this over other brands, is the fact that I was able to find a 25 round magazine for it. Now in some states these might be illegal. And you say, well, that's not really practical. It's kind of fun. It's good to know that I have a magazine that I can swap out in a hurry if I need to. This is a flush fit 9-round magazine that it comes with. And usually for most of our hunting applications, that's perfectly fine. But if you did have to use this in a survival application, I'd rather have that on hand. It has different kind of cartridges. In fact, in this nice little buttstock kit, I've got some rat shot, and a lot of people use these in 22 Magnum pistols for shooting snakes and rats and other small pests. You could use that in a small game hunting situation at very close ranges.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
You can definitely, we've killed squirrel with these, and they're not too destructive on the squirrel. You can still use the squirrel after you shoot it.
Squirrel!
And we've used these VMAX, Hornady VMAX with the polymer tip to take deer. And these are really effective rounds. So, and again, this rifle is a little bit more cost effective for folks. I purchased this used a few years ago from a Cabela's for about $300. And usually brand new, they're still under $500. Get a nice scope for it. And you know, it doesn't look scary to a lot of folks. It looks like a hunting rifle, so there is that factor. Now, would I want this to be my only firearm? No, personally I wouldn't, but it's better than nothing, and it would be better than a lot of other options out there. If this were semi-automatic, I would say that it would go up a notch in my book. The semi-automatic 22 Magnums are very difficult to find reliable ones. Keltec has been working on one called the PMR 30. That looks a little bit more tactical. I never fired that one. I've fired the pistol variant of that, but that might be something to look into. Bear Creek Arsenal, that makes modular sporting rifles, is also making a modular sporting rifle now in 22 Magnum. I've not personally tried it, but seems to have pretty good reviews and a good following, and it's also in a good. But if you're going to go to a modular sporting rifle, you might as well just go to a 223, unless you're weighing out some of those other options about legality. So just some thoughts, and we're going to have a little clip after this of Hannah Lee shooting, and she shoots. We've already filmed it, so I'm going to go ahead and brag on her. She had this bottle down there about 45 yards, and she was aiming for the O, and she hit right there. And on a deer-sized target at that range, that would still be a kill shot. And on a squirrel-sized target, that would still be a kill shot. So good
Squirrel!
Good job, Hannah Lee.
Thanks.
All right, you guys take care. Where'd it go? You got it. Good job. P.S. Hannah Lee told me to say that. Those of you who are spending or thinking of spending thousands of dollars on a modular sporting rifle and 5.56, and you want to get a suppressor and all that stuff, that's all well and good, and that definitely has its place. But you can fire this rifle comfortably without hearing protection. Is it as quiet as a suppressor? I'll leave that up to you to decide. But it's definitely quieter than a 5.56 without a suppressor. So something to consider there. Also, the velocity of a 22 Magnum coming out of an 18-inch barrel starts to get comparable, at least within a certain yardage, to that 5.56 traveling out of a shorter barrel. Now, I'm not saying that it is equal to a 5.56, please hear me, but we are talking about comparisons here, especially within 100 to 200 yards. This definitely has an application, and that might be something you want to consider, especially for the cost of it. And one more thing to say. Usually in most nice economies, not right now, but these rounds, you can get them for about 20 to 30 cents a round. You compare that to a 5.56, which currently right now is going for about 75 cents a round, I think, depending on where you buy it from. So definitely more cost effective. Thanks, Hannah Lee. Thanks, guys.
Bye.